Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Lili Nishmasi Mimirossi Ruspas Mordechai. Today's Shiur is sponsored, I think anonymously, in honor of the sponsors and the Tutzachs, Bechlal, and Mark Ashkenazy and Uncle Phil Befrat. The Flatbush MDY Shabbos Mevorchin, Melava, Malkah, and Zoomin Shiur. It's Geshmak to do the daf. So right now in New York, in Flatbush, I don't know if there's a live picture or not. The one that shows the most people, that's that one. They're all showing themselves. I see Eli Stefansky on, I see Mark Ashkenazy. Oh, here's the Olam on Eli Stefansky's. Let's see, Stefansky. Here we go. Wow. Wow, look at that. Look at that Olam. Gee. That's a beautiful sight. Wow, wow. No. He says that there's more people in Flatbush than in this space. This is kind of weak today, actually. Let me hear you. No, come on. Don't make me zionis. It looked like the only guy singing in Flatbush was Fischl. I don't know. Little schwach over there. I don't know. I can't hear exactly what he's saying, but okay. A big shkoyach to Kiva Ziegler and Mark Ashkenazy for taking care of all the logistics and arrangements. The evening is sponsored the schus for shidduch for Saralina Bas Goldale. What? She didn't get engaged yet? Money back guaranteed. Contributing to the food, Simon Zellman, Ellie Berman. It's interesting because I was looking through my emails this morning and I saw an email from Simon Zellman. I'm not sure if I read it or not. It could be. It sounds familiar. He says like this, but it's Kedai the Chazara. I know you get these emails all the time, but I feel that each one is a share that shared gives you, as well as everyone else, tremendous chizuk. Yesterday, while waiting for my flight from Miami to New York, at the prompting of my wife, I decided to watch the shiur earlier than usual. Across from me, it sounds familiar, this one? No. Across from me was sitting a family that you wouldn't be able to tell was very Jewish. Yeah, now. Happened to look up for a second and notice that the father seemed to say a bracha. That's when I said the mice with the bracha. Yeah. He's watching me learn. Couldn't resist to ask, can you imagine a whole Masechta on the day of Yom Kippur? To my surprise, he said yes. He told me he's on a second cycle of Daf Yomi, and he learns every day. We shmoozed a bit about the daf, how beautiful it is, even around the world, able to talk in their learning every day. What a chabura. And here it is. Tonight in New York, Motzei Shabbos in New York, Sunday morning in Eretz Yisrael, Yidden around the world talking and learning. What a chabura, Simon Zellman. From Jay Nathanson. Hey Rebelli, long time no email. I would like to get in the hak about shack, otherwise known as Hakashak, Hamevin Yovin. Hakashak. The hak, not the hack, the hak. Okay, there was a daf about a month ago where he showed a certain cartoon character depicting an Am Haaretz. I have it with me because today's daf, I was going to use it on today's daf, but we'll use it for the email. That day, in Erev Shabbos, I was having a hard day, but the picture lifted me up. Mamish changed my day. Who knows if your shack picture did the same to someone else? It did. To Nachman Seltzer. Keep trusting your gut. He was having the best day ever. And when I picked up that picture, it's like, it all went downhill. Came home, it's like, Eli showed the shack picture again. Keep trusting your gut and call Tov. Jay Nathanson.
The whole fantasy world going on over there.
Avi Mendelbaum, Shavua Tov from Teaneck. I'm sitting here learning today's daf, and you asked, where do we hold like Rav Meir? Last night I asked, the Gemara passes like Rav Meir, like you say 21, not 120. Where do we say 120 in Yiddishkeit? So he screamed out, I yelled out, since I have headphones in my ears, Sphira! And Kitzer, he woke up his parents. Also, all the amazing edits, inserts from Rabbi Yosef Biliak have been amazing. Can't wait to be home and back live, but we'll miss the edits. Avi, not anonymous, Mandelbaum. What else do we have here? We have a picture. This is a murder picture of Rabbi Yisrael Goldstein in Mezbich. Look at this. It's literally from the storybooks. It's good stuff. And here he is. Here it is. The Vecker. Look, you can't even make this up. Peeled paint. It's unbelievable.
Where's the measurements?
Yeah. He's a photographer.
He went up to the roof.
Yeah. Next one will be on the roof. With Hillel's thing. All right, boy say, when the Olam in New York said that they wanted to do a special Malkah, I spoke to the editors of Oiz V'Hodar, and they decided to go a little easy on the Olam. They're going to be able to leave a little earlier. We got a 2-line Amud. I said that this is my favorite Amud in Shas, and somebody said that I'm a big Amaretz. He wrote in. He says, what about Nazir? Nazir Daf Lamed Gimel Amud Beis. Guess how many words is Nazir Lamed Gimel Amud Beis? 0. Because the whole Amud Beis is Taisvus. So you see, I'm not Amaretz. Of course I knew about that one. A Magid Shir needs to say something. I can't just not show up. So over here, it's 2 lines, and it's quick. If it's 0, it's 0. That doesn't count. That's not part of it. Rabbi Isai, here we are. We are holding on Daf Nun Hey Amud Beis. We left a few lines here, so it should be ganz Geshmak today. And we're in the middle of a sugya as follows. We're talking about a Machlokes Rabbi Yehuda and Tanakama. How many bases are there outside of the Kodesh HaKadoshim to put down the blood? There's 2 types of blood, the blood from the bull and the blood of the goat. Is there 2 bases or 1 base? Rabbi Yehuda is of the opinion that we don't have 2 bases because he might get confused. And like this, he gets to hold it in his hand and he has to do a switcheroo, and like this he'll remember what he has in his hand. But if he's able to put down the 2 bloods, he might grab the wrong one when necessary. He might do the zrikas with the bull blood instead of the soyer, or vice versa. Then the Gemara says, so why doesn't he just write down? Make 2 and write soyer, para, and he'll know. So the Gemara tries to say that Rabbi Yehuda doesn't hold of ksiva. In other words, even if you write it down, he can be confused. But the Gemara says, how can you be confused? Famous, I'll use this because I didn't use this last night even though I brought it here. There are 13 shofros, there are 13 pushkas of tzedakah. Each one has another depiction on it. It says, Nedava, Levina, Eitzim. So writing does work. There's no confusion. Here it is. You start from Tiklin Atikin, Tiklin Chadatin is number 1, Tiklin Atikin, number 3, and you go in a circle where this is from Shkolim, that number 13 is right next to number 1. That was the idea then. That's why they have to be in a circle. The Nedava is next to Tiklin Chadatin. If you go, I brought this because when I was in New York last time, the guys in New York, look how beautiful. They printed it, unbelievable. I think it was Krauss, I'm not even sure. Mark Ashkenazy, Krauss. Over here, this is not so Eiska Halton. It's a beautiful drawing to show all the shofars and everything, but they're not in a circle. So you have Nedava over here and Tiklin Chadatin over here. They're not next to each other, and they have to be next to each other. Okay, I schlepped this all the way from America so I could keep this. It's hard to keep, but whatever. Got it. Here, Yaakov, you're in charge of this. Look at the size of it. Okay. Then we went into... So we went into the idea that, according to Rabbi Yehuda, from these 13 shofros, according to Rabbi Yehuda, you don't have a chatas in here. It's all loila. Because we're concerned that he might make a mistake. He might confuse the two. He might mix them up. And the Gemara says, at the end, we're talking about all the way at the end of the sugya, that we're concerned that somebody dropped money. What happens if somebody drops money into the pushka that says kinim, and it's chatas money, and then he dies? And we know for a fact that he died, not a suffix. He died. So now you have 50 people that put chatas money into the pushka, and we know there's one person in there that put money into the chatas pushka, but he died. Now you can't use any of the money. All 50 go to waste. Why? Because it's chatas shemesu ba'aleh. It's chatas that the owner died, and if the owner dies, you can't bring it. If you can't bring his, you can't bring anybody else's. That's where we're holding right now. Says the Gemara, 6 lines from the bottom. V'nivrar arba zuzi v'nishde b'maya. What's the problem? You have a pushka with 50 piles of money, and one of them you're concerned is chatas money that the guy literally died. You don't know which one it is. So grab 4 zuz. That's the value of a carbon chatas, of this bird, and throw it into the water. Chop it up, grind it up. Either you throw it into Yama Melach, so it goes to waste. If you're going to throw it into the regular ocean, chop it up, throw it into the ocean, so nobody can find it. And Memela, I'll do something called Breira. Retroactive clarification. I love that. Very good. From the article. Retroactive, that I knew. Clarification was a good one. You could be mevarer l'mafreya. You could say retroactively, this money is what this person put in. Now, all the Rishonim discuss, how can you do that? What chametz also? A bunch of chametz fell into Pesach Dika food, so I'll take out a bunch of it and say retroactively, this is what. You can't do that. Or other Yisurim. So they discuss it and they say that when you donate the money, you make such a t'nai. It's on condition that if something happens, that you could undo it. Akopanim, let's use the idea of breira. Again, let's pull out from the whole pushka 4 zuz, the value of one bird, chatas, and say, this bird, this is the money. I don't know for sure, but now I'm going to retroactively say, this is the money that the guy that died threw into the pushka, and that money I am going to throw to waste. Says the Gemara, Rabbi Yehuda, lesle breira. That's very simple. Rabbi Yehuda doesn't hold of the idea of breira, and now the Gemara is going to go into just 2 places and figure out where does he say that there's no breira. You can't go retroactive. It is what it is. Minalan. Where do we see this idea? It says in the Mishnah, Erev Shabbos im Chashecha. One girsa. Somebody buys wine from a kusi. What's a kusi? A kusi, a bunch of people, they have it similar, nothing really changed. People came in from different countries into Eretz Yisrael. We're not sure exactly what their status is. Are they real Gerim or not real Gerim? We know one thing for sure. They were not Jews when they came to Eretz Yisrael. And then they got punished. The lions started eating them. So out of fear, they became Gerim. Was it sincere or not sincere? Are they real Gerim or not real Gerim? Okay, so let's assume that they're real Gerim. Well, even if they're real Gerim, they didn't keep everything like Jews. They were very makel and they had different things, different that. So now you buy wine from a kusi. You're chayiv to give it trumas and maisrus. The problem is, today, whatever it is, Erev Shabbos, not Erev Shabbos, you don't have a kli. You can't pour the wine into anything. You can't do it. You're on a trip, you need a drink, you buy wine. Now what do? So this is an eitzah. Now, the akusi is slightly different than Amaritz, the picture of Amaretz. Akusi takes Trum Maisris for himself, but won't do it for other people. It's very interesting. Tosfos goes through a whole thing. Okay, they are not makbid on the Isra of Lifnei Iver Leisitim Michshol. They don't care to trip other people up. So they'll sell them things telling them that there's Trumas and Maisris. They're careful with Gezel, but they have an excuse for everything. It's funny how nothing has changed. Moira Heter about everything. Gezel? No, it's not Gezel. Why is it not Gezel? Because there's no person I'm stealing from. It's all the Kohanim in the world. No Kohen is coming to me and asking for it. There's no Teveya. Great. And another reason is I didn't take the Truma yet. So nobody could be Teveya if I didn't separate it yet. And finally, they have a drasha. Not only are they Moira Heter, but the Talmidei Chachamim. They're Nevelim B'Shus HaTorah. They're Nevalim B'Shus HaTorah. They have a drasha. V'chalta v'lo ha'moicher. Okay, the guy that eats it, he's the one that has to do it, not me. So they don't take the Trumas and Maisris. So Mela, you have to take Trumas and Maisris. What do you do? Oymed v'oymer, he stands and he says, Shnei lugin shani osa lahafresh hareim truma. Rabbi Isai, chidushim g'doilim. We're going back to our favorite thing, Trumas and Maisris. If a person has a bottle of wine, he has grapes, he has fruit, he has to take Trumas and Maisris. What does he do? So Minat Torah, he only has to take one kernel for Truma and give it to the Kohen. But he's a nice guy. Nice people, they do either 1%, 2%. He's large, 2%. So how much is he left with? 98. So from 98, he takes Meiser Rishon, 10% of that, 9.8. So again, Truma G'dayla is to the Kohen. Meiser Rishon is to the Levi, 10% of the Levi. Then after he's done with that, the Levi takes Trumas Meiser from that. We're not going to discuss that because that's not his problem. We're discussing what the Israel has to do. He takes Truma, then Meiser, and then Meiser Sheni. Meiser Sheni on years 1, 2, 4, and 5 of the Shemitah cycle, he has to take 10% and give it to himself. He brings it up to Yerushalayim, and he has a party. He goes to restaurants, he eats food, steaks, whatever he wants with the money. If it's too heavy, it's too much for him to carry, so he transfers it to cash, to money, and then he takes the money and he goes up to Yerushalayim with the money, and with the money he buys whatever he wants to buy over there. So, this person, Shnei Lugin Shani Osid Lahafrish Hareim Truma, 2% that I'm going to give in the future, it's future. That is Truma. Daf Amud Aleph, don't miss it. Asara Meiser Rishon, 10% goes to the Levi. Not today, tomorrow. Right now I want to drink. I don't have where to put it. In the future, I'm going to give 10% to the Levi. Tisha Meiser Sheni. 9, now I only have 90 left. So 10% of the 90, what's ever left, I'm giving Meiser Sheni. Meiser Sheni on years 1, 2, 4, 5. And not on 1, 2, 4, 5, on 3 and 6 is Meiser Ani. Umeichal. Now, he could do one thing right now. He doesn't have a kli, so he can't pour the wine in. But one thing he could do, he could take care of Trumas Meiser, of Meiser Sheni. He could take care of Meiser Sheni. How? With cash. So he opens up his wallet, and he says the 10% of wine that's in this bottle should go into this cash. So now, Meiser Sheni is taken care of. Whatever he can take care of, he takes care of. And that's what he does. So he takes care of Meiser Sheni. However, the Truma and the Meiser, what goes to the Kohen and what goes to the Levi, the Yisrael he took care of, that he didn't take care of. That he's going to do in the future. And that's okay. Divrei Rebbe Meir. So what does Rebbe Meir hold? We hold Breira. Why? Right now, he drinks from the wine. In this wine, there's 10% Meiser and 2% Truma, and he drinks it. What did he drink? What's not Truma? What's not Meiser? How do I know? It's all mixed in. Because Breira tells me that retroactive clarification, when I get home and I have a kli, and I pour out 10% in the kli, and then another 2% in another kli, That's what I meant to say. That was the truma, that was the meiser. I could go retroactive, and today I could drink and not worry about it. There's nothing mixed in. What came into my mouth has zero truma and zero meiser. Because of the idea of breira. It's an idea that we discussed many times in Shas, and here it is again. And every time we discuss it, it's the same sugya. That's according to Reb Meir. Now, we want to prove that according to Rabbi Yehuda, he doesn't hold breira. So Reb Meir says, this is a good idea, this is a good trick. You want to drink. Now, returning to Daf Amud Beis. By the way, this doesn't count. You can't. It does. What? Lemana. Sponsored Leilu Nishmas Uri Ben Mattisyahu, and for the success in Gashmius and especially ruchnius of his grandchildren. Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yosi, Rabbi Shimon, Oisrim. They l'chayra hold there's no breira. Givaldik. So we have a great raya that Rabbi Yehuda holds no breira. Alma ain't breira. Otherwise, why would Rabbi Yehuda say you can't do this trick? Let him just separate the truma and meiser, say it, and then do the actual separation later on, and we'll know lemafreya retroactive that that's what he was separated. Says the Gemara, it's not a good raya. Mimai. Dilma shani hasam kediktani taima. It says mefurish over there a good idea of why Rabbi Yehuda doesn't hold of it. Amr loyla Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Shimon, and Rabbi Yosi. They told Rabbi Meir, there's a major problem. What if the glass bottle or the leather pouch that's holding falls on the ground, it's a shmetters into pieces, and then you can never separate the trumas and meisers. And then retroactively it comes out that you drank tevel. Aren't you concerned? What do? The problem is not of breira. Breira would work if you could get to the finish line and get home in one piece with the bottle. Important, maybe they agree. Over here there's a concern, maybe the bottle will break. And if the bottle breaks, and you didn't do Trumas Meisters retroactively, because you couldn't, it was impossible, it's on the floor, Nimtza, Shoiset, Tvalim Lemafreya. That you drink Tevel, and we don't want you to drink Tevel Lemafreya. So Mamela, we don't allow you to do Trumas Meisters Lemafreya. Says Rameh, I'm not concerned. The guy's going to be careful. It's a far-fetched concern. I don't have to be concerned about such a thing. However, you see from their question that they were concerned. So perhaps Rabbi Yehuda does hold the breira. Only in a case of wine, he doesn't hold that you can do Trumas Meisters and say it's retroactive because over there we're concerned that the bottle will break. Allah says the Gemara, I have another raya. Miditani ayoy. The Tani ayoy. And the ayoy is brought down a few times in Shas, but all with this halacha. He only says this halacha in Shas. That what? Ein oda masna ashnei dvarim ke'echad. So here's the case. Going back to Eruvin. The halacha is that if you're in your house, or let's call this the end of the city, your house, the end of the city, you're allowed to walk 2,000 amma in each direction on Shabbos. That's it. You have to stop after 2,000 amma. So there's a trick. What's the trick? The trick is you put a meal down 2,000 amma from your house. Right over here, put a challah, an egg, that's your meal. And now you have 2,000 amma from your challah going that way. What did you do? You didn't add any amma at all. You have the same amount of amma. What you did is you shifted the picture. So this was the center beforehand, and you have 2,000 amma going this way and 2,000 amma going this way. Now you just shifted everything. Now, instead of the house being over here, your challah is your house, your koina shvisa over here, and now you have 2,000 amma this way and 2,000 amma this way. But guess what? You cannot even go one amma this way. You're stuck. This is the end. All you did is you took this picture and you shifted it over this way. Or you shifted it over this way. So the Gemara says we have a situation. You have two Talmidei Chachamim coming to give a drasha on Shabbos. And you don't know which Talmid Chacham you wanna listen to. Two G'daylim. One is coming from the east, one is coming from the west. So what do? You set down 2 eruve tchumim. Now, it's usher to use 2 eruve tchumim. You can only do 1. So what do you want to do? You want to use brera. You put down 2. And then, when you decide which Talmud Chacham you're going to go to, then you're going to say, oh, retroactively, on Friday, that's the eruv that I placed. This one is canceled. I'm using this one. When you decided? On Shabbos, because I'm going retroactive. We're getting there in a second. That's the next case. So, did anybody ever have a tchum issue in their life? Did anybody ever come out of tchum? You did? You may have. I was in a camp. I might have said this, but it doesn't matter. There's not enough time. I'll make it quick. There was nice and slow. My parents decided to send me to a camp, a sleepaway camp in Eretz Yisrael. There's a reason why they don't have sleepaway camps here. They're not very popular because of this Maisa. It was in Komamiyot. It's a 7-day camp. So right away I knew there's issues. First night we're on a sleepaway trip somewhere, and we had a guy, a guard with a machine gun. So he says, "Who wants to volunteer to watch the night shift?" It's me. I get to hold the machine gun? Yeah, you get to hold the machine gun. Okay, you get from 2 to 3. So somebody wakes me up at 2 o'clock. I'm walking around with another 12 years old with a machine gun, loaded, fully loaded machine gun, walking around, and everybody's sleeping in sleeping bags. And all of a sudden we hear noise, and we got really scared. It turns out it was like a horse, like grazing over there. Okay, great. Following morning, we go to Nachal Yehudia. Nachal Yehudia, there's 2 ways to do it. You could either, there's like how tall, 10 meters or something? 20 meters? He says 8, you say 20. It's by the jump. The run, how many? The run says it's 8, it's 8. 8 meter. Most people, they come this way and they jumped 8 meters into the water. There's a pool on the bottom and there's a waterfall that's 8 meters. But we were young. We were only 12. So he said, you are going to swim across this body of water, and then climb up the waterfall. There's a rope there, you climb up. Disaster. Kids are drowning. I'm not exaggerating. The whole camp has to cross. Now, half the kids don't know how to swim. Who knows how to swim over a body of water? And as we're trying to get to the other side, this guy, a yeshiva boy, on top goes, 1, 2, 3, and he jumps. It's not funny because he never came out. In front of the whole camp, he died. He drowned in front of the whole camp. Kids are disaster after disaster. This camp was a disaster. Come Shabbos, now, yeah, I'm not exaggerating. We watched the army come and take him out, find him, take him out. Meanwhile, we didn't have any water because we ran out of water. So we had to drink the water, the water from the pool, but there was a dead body in the pool. It was disgusting. It was a terrible situation. Kitzer, so Motzei Shabbos Mises for the guys in New York. So on Shabbos, me and my friend decided to take a nice spazier. So we take a spazier. We're about 100 feet out of the camp, like the Komamiyot, like we're going through the fields. And all of a sudden, I don't remember who said to who. It's like, wait a minute, what about Tchum? Oh, Tchum, yeah, Tchum. We heard about something we're 12 years old. We didn't know what 2,000 amma. Now, I'm thinking now, 2,000 amma is 4,000 feet. It's almost a mile. I don't think we walked a mile. Probably 100, maybe 25 feet. It's like, Tchum! So we went to ask a Rav, it was the whole thing. Could we go back to the camp? There was another community there. All I remember is a Timani rabbi with Nana, T, the whole thing, and he gave us a psak, and I think we made it back to our camp. That was my experience with the Tchum. Never had it. How did it get to the guy dying in the pool? I have no idea. Somehow. Okay. In America, it doesn't really happen, the whole Tchum thing, because it's like from the end of the community, from the end of the city. Here in Israel, maybe outside of Bet Shemesh, if you start walking over in the mountains, it might be a problem. Okay. Really? Says Ari that in Gimel they had marks in the tree to tell you that that's where Tchum is. Very nice. Okay. Oh, upstate in New York, upstate in the mountains, exactly. But it's 2,000 amma is a long distance. 3,000 feet, okay, yeah, but still a long. It's a hike. Okay. Givaldik. Okay. Another niggin? Something? No. Okay, weiter. Says the Gemara like this. The Tani Ayoy, Rabbi Yehuda Omer ein Adam Masna Shnei Dvarim Ke'echad. You don't have the ability to make it tnai like this. Ella, im b'chacham lemizrach eruv lemizrach, lemairav eruv lemairav. Avlakan ulkan loy. So the Gemara says like this: If this chacham is on an angle, I don't remember saying this in Eruvin, but I noticed it in Rashi here. It says balachse. I just thought that he doesn't know where he's coming from. But no, the Chacham has the way to get here and here in his Tchum. He's on an angle. You just don't know if he's going to show up to the right or to the left. That's your thing. If it's one Chacham, just the direction is you don't know what direction he's going. It's not two Chachamim, not two Talmid Chachamim, and you're going to choose, I'm going to go to Rebbe Kiva and not to Rebbe Meir. That's not what's happening. It's one Rebbe Kiva. He's over here, and he might decide to come and surprise everybody on the east side of the city, or he might do it on the west, and then you're doing two Eruvim. That's okay. And we ask, what? No, because then it's two Chachamim. How do you have one Chacham that could come from one? So that's no, because it has to be a Metzias. It's a Metzias that he is there. We'll see in a second. Right. Because it happens. You just don't know what that happened. When you have two Talmid Chachamim, like in this case, you say it doesn't work, you can't pick and choose, you can't decide on Shabbos whichever you want to use because you don't go retroactive. So what's the difference? So this one also, there's no Breira. What happened was the Chacham showed up. It's just you don't know. It's there. It's just your lack of knowledge. So Memela, when did this Eruv, when did it happen? Not on Shabbos. You put down the Eruv on Erev Shabbos, it's actually Chal on Erev Shabbos. You said, I'm going to put an Eruv wherever the Chacham showed up. He already showed up on Friday. So it's not a question of Breira. It's not retroactive. You just found out on Shabbos which one of your Eruvin worked. But it worked on Friday. One of them on Friday was no good. One of them worked. Because I said, I want the Eruv that's closer to the Rav. That's the one I want to work on Friday, not on Shabbos. So it's not a question of Breira. What do you see from here? That if there's two Talmid Chachamim, Rabbi Yehuda holds, there's no Breira. You don't say Breira. If there's two of them, this case right over here, Rabbi Yehuda says, no, it doesn't work. Why? Because I cannot decide on Shabbos which Eruv I want to use. That will be retroactive clarification. And retroactive clarification doesn't work according to Rabbi Yehuda. So here's a raya that it doesn't work. So let's go back. You have a box full of money. And in the box, there's a few coins that were deposited by a person who died. And he said that money should be for a chatas, and you don't know which coins are the one that from the person that died, and which 25,000 coins are from all the other women who gave birth and want to bring their korbanos for Yoledes, for Zav and a Zava and Tamigda, the whole thing. So why don't they do retroactive? Why don't they say, let's pull out 4 coins, 4 zuzim, and say that's that guy that died? The answer is, because Rabbi Yehuda doesn't hold the Breira. He doesn't hold the Breira. Okay, now that he doesn't hold the Breira, let's go step back. So, but he does hold of Ksiva. You could write, because look at all these shofars. Each shofar has a name. Each shofar has a name. So now we're just going back to the whole cheshbon. This works. These names work. So if the names work, so then why, here's the Gemara's original question. Then why, according to Rabbi Yehuda, don't you just write down 2 names on these 2 bases? Why is he so adamant that there's only one? Maybe there's 2, and one says para, and one says sar, and there's not going to be any confusion. Just like there's no confusion in the Beis HaMikdash 13, there's no confusion. So there's no confusion for 2. What's the problem? Let him just write down a name. There is ksiva. Says the Gemara. But he holds that you could write, and writing works. Not that you could write, that the writing works. Yom Kippurim nami never trei v'nichlev alay. So then why Yom Kippur can't you just write it down? Says the Gemara, we're talking about a fast day. And he's working really hard. Says Rabbi Yehuda, if you have two bases and you put down both bloods, why are you putting down both bloods? Because you want to do everything with your right hand. And if you only have one base, you have to start holding one and carrying one and putting one down. You're using your left. You don't want to use your left. It's much better to have two bases. But because he's in a fast state, he might grab the wrong one. Because if you don't come onto the svara that he's fasting and he might make mistakes because of that, why do you need writing? It's very pashut. A bull has a ton of blood, and you have to grab all the blood, and a goat has very little blood. So one weighs 25 pounds and one weighs 5 pounds. It's pashut. He's gonna feel it. And if you say, well, yeah, a bull has a lot of blood, but he didn't receive it all in the kli. We learn from this a drasha that he has to receive all the dam and nefesh. Anything that the neshama is talian. Yeah, he has to receive it, it's better. But let's say it's spilled, most of it. So now, they're both equal in weight. They both weigh the same amount, so he's not going to realize, and that's why you have to write it. But there's another difference. The blood of the bull, remember when we had the 5 types of gold? One of them was called parva or something. What was it called? Dam, not par, but parva maybe. No, how did you do on the test? Good, Givaldik, Baruch Hashem. They took another test, 30. I hope they all got 100. Somebody came over and said, I got 100. One of the Kyle guys, because they give the answers afterwards. As you walk out, they give the answers. I didn't get any wrong. Well, let's see if they cheat a little bit, if their shoe is going to give them 100 or not. Be'ez Hashem, yeah. I'll be happy to pay that money. Hai chiver v'hai sumak. The blood of a bull is much redder. It's a deeper color, like that gold, the best gold. Parva, no? I think it was parva, something like that. Ella, meshum, chulsha, the kohen gadol, live adaita. So you must come onto the svara that even though they weigh different, they look different, he's still going to get confused because he's fasting. Says the Gemara, there was once a person. Now, throughout Shas, you're oile la Torah because you go up on a bima. The bima is higher than the shul. And nachas, you go down. The chazan always went down. There's a step down in the ground. So we're talking about on Yom Kippur. There was a chazan. Unlike today that we have all the machzorim, it's fancy. This that they had to remember this is all the sugyas of the chazan making mistakes, and he gets confused. What confused? It was about pet. And he said, Yatza, he's saying the avodah of the Kohen Gadol in the Beis HaMikdash. And he says, Yatza v'nichoy al kan sheni shebehechol. Says the chazan that there are 2 of these bases. 2. He put it on the second one. And then he says, Noto damapar v'niach damasar. He takes the blood of the bull and puts down the blood of the goat. Who says that? That's already Rabbi Yehuda, that there's only one. Otherwise, you put them both down and then you grab one. You don't have to do a switcheroo. So Rabbi says, well, you're mixed up. You're confused. He's in the middle of davening, screams out, Chada k'Rabbanan, v'chada k'Rabbi Yehuda. What? In the middle of Shmooze Esrei. Chada k'Rabbi Yehuda, v'chada k'Rabbanan. And he chapped right away what's going on here. Okay. So you have to say, wow, I didn't notice it, and notice it now. It says that it brings it in the Shulchan Aruch. I wonder if that's the halacha. Seems like that's the halacha. At least in the Rambam is brought down like that. Okay? That there's only one stand like Rabbi Yehuda. Now, he's done with the 2 sprinklings inside the Heichal, inside the Kodesh HaKodashim, which was between the poles of the Arayin, the sprinkling over there. The bull blood, the goat blood. Now, he repeats the whole process outside of the Kodesh HaKodashim in the Heichal. Here's the pasuk. Why am I bringing it? Because of the next part. Whatever you did before inside the Kodesh HaKodashim, repeat. step by step. What do we have last night? One zrika towards the top of the aron, but obviously it doesn't touch the aron. It falls down on the floor. And then 7 more on the floor. And he says, achas. Achas ve'achas. Achas v'shtayim. Achas v'sholosh. Machloikis. Do you say shtayim ve'achas or achas v'shtayim? But that's how we do it. That's it. Okay. So that exact process happens again in the Heichal. Why does it say it? Just like inside the Kodesh HaKadoshim, you do a certain process. That's the same exact way you do it in the Heichal. Just like when you're inside the Kodesh HaKadoshim, you do 1 on top and 7 on the bottom from the bull's blood. The same thing you repeat again. Interesting. We had a Sfardi here last night, and he said that they do say achas v'achas, but what? Right, and that was Yeshua's father-in-law said. He pointed out the Ashkenazim, for some reason, we have to find out why. We only say achas v'achas 3 times, and we're going to say what? Yeah. Only 2 times.
Right. We say the Kachaya Omer on Hashem. That's what we say 3 times.
I hear. Kachaya Omer 3 times, but achas we only say twice. So the question is, why do we say it only twice? As we see here, there was 4 hazayas like that. Okay. And Sfardim say it 4 times, right? That's what you said. Sfardim go through the whole process 4 times. So mean those Sfardim, whatever. Sit there and shul over and over. Ashkenazim, let's go. Cut in half. Boom, next. The Goymer, we just put in Vav, Gimel, Vav, and Yichab. Yeah, a month of slichas, and then even Kippur, you think they'll get a break? No, never. They have to, okay. The same thing that I have for the goat. Now, listen to this. We're almost done. Reb Chaim, I lied to those guys in New York. They thought they have a break. They're going to go home 10 minutes earlier. Reb Chaim went to the Vilna Gaon and he asked him a question. It says, I believe it was in Masechtas Derech Eretz. It says that you have to act like a Kodesh Baruch Hu. B'midosav shel Kodesh Baruch Hu. Mahu rachum ato rachum chanon. And it says that Kodesh Baruch Hu is sameach b'chelkoi. So you also have to be sameach b'chelkoi. So Reb Chaim goes running to the Vilna Gaon and he says, what does it mean Hashem is sameach b'chelkoi? Hashem could push a button and get more. What is he? He only has $1 million. So he's happy with his $1 million. So he'll make $2 million. What is sameach? How could it be that Kodesh Baruch Hu is sameach b'chelkoi? How do you make sense of that? No, anybody have a terrace? Listen to what the Vilna Gaon says. Vilna Gaon says it's talking about Klal Yisrael. Hashem is happy even though Klal Yisrael is not ayayay, they're not the best. He's happy with what they are. He's happy with them right now. We have Askam to the Vilna Gaon.
You looked at me for Askam.
No, I saw you contemplating in your head. But you just go ahead. Okay. Says the Gemara like this. Listen to this. Afidu b'shashem tmeim. When Klal Yisrael is tamei. What is tamei? The tamei, not doing the proper thing. Shechina yimayim. You think the Shechina cannot be with Tumah. No, the Shechina is there with the tmeim, with the way, as they're acting, as is. That's how Kodesh Baruch Hu is. Says the min. What does it say on the side? He's not a min, he's a tzduki. Yeah, and it was taken out because of the censorship. Okay. So the tzduki tells Reb Chanina, Hashta bari tmei matun. I can tell that you are all tamei, and memela, there's no shechina. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not between you. Why? Dichsev tumasa b'shuleha. Inecha. You compare it to Anida. You have tuma. So if you have tuma, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not with you. Look what it says in the pasuk. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is with Klal Yisrael. Afilu bizman shem tmeim shchina shriben. Listen, Rabbi Isa, you got to give me credit to pull it off. A 2-liner Amud and to finish at 800. Come on, one of the biggest chachmas of all time. Rabbi Isa, have a wonderful, wonderful day. Shema Aleis Mevorchin Sicha Adinoi. Adinoi Shema B'Kayli Tines Dach Yeshavay Zikal Chanoi. Ima B'nei Zishmor Ya Adinoi B'Yamoy. Slicha, Slicha. Yisa Imson Hashem B'Yichanti. Nafsila di noim shuvim laboy shuvim laboy ken. You're looking good. You're wearing your hat.
We're in Texas now. We're in Dallas, Texas. Traveling Hasidim.
You do.
This is the first time. This is the first time we did it since COVID. The first Shabbos. And the belly.
Don't forget to take a good picture.
Rebelli, walk around the Smedish. Two people came over to me. Shalom Aleichem, Shaul Goldstein. I've never met them before. Two guys from Dallas. They watch this here every single night. They're on Zoom. They're on now.
Really? What's their names? You remember the names?
Give me 1 second. Get the name 1 second.
Could you see? You've got that camera. If you got a good angle.
Yosef Revitsky, and Rabbi Stolov.
Guys, you see
Interesting. Wow. Yisrael Shalitsky, how come you're not there? Why are you at home?
He's not home. He's there.
I am here. 1 second. 1 minute. We got to be quiet. We got to take another picture. 1 second. Is the party yet?
Wait a minute, Aaron. Tell everybody that if it's a good picture, we put it up in the base measures forever.
Rebelli, I good to know.
Mark's time there.
Billy, are you going back?
I don't know. The Mevorchin. Rebelli. Love it. How you doing, Rebelli?
Okay, fine. I get the rock, Rebelli. I'm here.
So there's a nice turnout. A nice turnout showed up over there.
Oh. Okay, it's not. I'll go with who else is there? Rebelli.
Yeah.
Rebelli, you see? Rebelli. Yeah, what's that?
Kids are a boy side. You have to excuse the guys in New York. They're leaving their phone on. It's noisy.
Rebelli.
Yeah. The Mevorchin. Shalom Aleichem Mevorchin. Ma neshama. Yisrael, make sure. Ask him if he's still doing the daf. They don't hear a word over there.
Aaron.
Shalom.
My son's because he finished back now?
What do you mean? My son likes to read every Shabbos on the bike. So
you're thinking about Moshe her for Mevorchin. I'm Aaron. I'm the guy in the Zoom. So Moshe, you thought you were Moshe. So I'm Aaron.
Aaron.
no relation.
Yes, it is.
Aaron.
I don't know if they can hear you.
The voice in New York, if you could turn off your phones maybe, so the oil will make it
is.
It's very loud.
Door on the place. So, name a city. How long you been on the?
Right here. Right.
Think so? Very good. Very nice. When you
Maybe I can.
Oh, okay. Where's the place? When I used to live in Flatbush, it used to be like considered out of town for me. Now I live in So, if we take a break. Thank you.
So you're live with everybody?
Yeah, well, I'm on the Zoom every night. It's live on Zoom.
Aaron, is it possible to mute over there in New York?
All right. I'm gonna pull your shoe. I can't hear.
I guess we'll mute him from over here. We'll ask Gary to mute him.
Put in my earpiece so I can hear you.
Everybody's muted besides New York. I see what's going on there. This is terrible. We have to mute New York besides everybody.
Well,
Oh, guys, amazing. I'm so proud of you all for coming. Yeah.
Yeshua's very proud of us for coming, Mark.
Yosef's there.
Oh, who's that? No,
Hey,
wait,
Dylan.
Aaron Hirsch, you're a good boy.
Morning.
Pesach, where you
Hey.
from? Pesach Pearl, where you
Aaron,
from?
I need a picture of you on up.
Ask people where they're from.
That was muted.
Not normal.